we wanted to talk. Do we even have slides in here about the?
We do.
I don't think a whole lot. We do. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's not a super exciting slide. But if you go to 18.
Oh, 18?
Oh well, that one
yes.
works too. Yeah, but 18
No,
is the main.
yeah. The Lego block. You spent so much time on these Lego slides. I do want to give a shout out to Darin. Slide, and he has that, and I don't feel like I have that as much. So,
your slide game's on
Lego
point.
blocks. Yeah,
we try. I can't take all the credit. I actually ripped off the idea from some other slides, but man, it's I think it does a nice job of really showing and illustrating. One of the big things with Tanzu Platform and kind of the Taz story and the PCF story before that is, we continue to build on this legacy. Every time we introduce something new, you begin to see how it iterates over time. And so that's where the Lego idea came from, is like, hey, that Gen AI tile, we introduced that as part of a beta in Taz 6. And then with 10.0, we made it become generally available and made it a whole lot easier for developers to quickly deploy, private LLMs inside of their environments and begin taking advantage of those with their applications. And now with 10.2, we're adding some really great capabilities that take it even further. And so, one of those big things that we're doing is multi-model plan support, which is, I think, really exciting, because I think today, or historically, and Nick, keep me honest, but
yes.
you've always had to kind of consume models independently. You'd have to deploy a new model each time you wanted, or deploy a new model from a plan and multiple plans potentially, if you wanted to take advantage of multiple models. Now you can, a platform engineer can add multiple models to a single plan, and the developer only needs to consume a single plan, which is going to greatly ease the overall user experience for the developer, but also make it a lot faster to be able to develop for new applications and use cases.
So let's dig into that a little bit more, because you've got enabling agentic engine of AI. What are you guys doing on the agentic side? Are you allowing, Claude Code? Are you allowing is Broadcom bringing in their own agent? What's going on there?
Yeah, so we have a there's a pattern, you may have seen some of Corby's demos before, where we can deploy MCP servers on top of the platform, and then
he froze.
And use those LLMs, and then you can deploy additional apps. So we're kind of treating MCP servers as kind of like a microservice pattern per se, where you can add additional, deploy n number of MCP servers, and those would be remote MCP servers. But the cool thing though is with the platform, you can do things like use the internal networking, and then you may have a front end like a chat app that has authorization or connection to the MCP servers, but then hide the MCP servers all on the internal network of the platform, so that not anyone can hit those, type of thing from a security perspective. So that's kind of cool. And the chat, the front end, or the client would be authenticated via an app SSO or a other SSO endpoint, that type of thing. So that's some things that we can do today. Scenes happening for furthering that, but I can't quite talk about some of that yet. But some of this multimodal plan and some of these other things are precursor work to help do some additional things, and you may be able to pick up on that or not, but they're not quite out yet. So we can kind of maybe I can show the user experience here, but that was the plan. if we want, we can kind of drill in and see where we go from here. So I don't know how it's looking down to you guys. I still my Streamyard's in my left. I'm trying to look straight at the screen, but I see it in my corner of my eye, and I just see spinning things, but I'm still connected. So
yeah, every so often your audio just completely cuts out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay. I guess we'll keep going, and if it gets too bad, we'll just stop.
Sounds good.
Is that okay?
Yep.
All right. Am I still here?
And when you get into
Okay.
this, I've got some questions on the multi-model support and what you guys are doing on that. But
Yeah.
let's see what the demo looks like first.
Let's see if I can log in. All right. Okay. All right. So let's go to Ops Manager first and kind of dig into what's going on there, because there's some big changes in the 10.2 release of Ops Manager, but of the Gen AI tile, and that's kind of like setting the stage for how the multi-model plans work and things of that nature. So let's make this. I'll make this full screen, and we'll drill into here, and we'll command ++. So we'll see our handy dandy Ops Manager. And if you notice, like the biggest thing that we see now here is that the plan config and the model config have been decoupled, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you've been using this before, you're like, well, what's going on here? And we'll kind of drill into that and see, and go from there. I don't want to install anything on Slack right now. All right, so if we look at the model config, I've got 4 models configured in this plan, or in this tile, and we can drill into one of those. It doesn't really matter what, but essentially a new thing that you'll see here is that you'll have a model name and a model handle. That handle will come in handy when you're making plans. And then you have your typical flow that you saw before within the tile. I don't want to do that. I actually unchecked vision, but you tell it what capabilities the model can do. So you can do chat, you can do tools, some advanced OLAMA configuration for the different, the models and things. So context length, cache type, keep alive settings, and things of that nature kind of were added in there to help support it. If you're using air-gapped models or custom models, you can tell it what URL to pull from. I'm using that here, and then I actually did provide my own model file configuration, which is something that you'll need to do too if you're doing the offline model configuration, which a lot of our customers do because they're in an air gap and they can't pull directly from these direct. And I've got that running on a single GPU. Talked about my VM type. So this is kind of like what you would normally see in this model configuration, but that would typically then just have a plan generated based on that. And we used to see a plan description and things in the bottom here, but it's been moved in the tile. All right, hopefully you can still see here. But now when we go in the plan config, you can see now that I have multiple plans. Like I have more plans than I have models, right? So we have this concept of, we still have the kind of the original single, like one-to-one mapping of a model to a plan that gets, added to the Cloud Foundry marketplace. But now we have this multi-model plan support. So you'll kind of see what's going on here. So if we just drill into the original view here. So I have this, have prod chat tools, Quen 3 Ultra enabled. I've given a plan description about what it can do, and I gave it what model, and that's actually the handle of the model in that plan. And I told it what binding format to use, a single model. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, and then we can go single or multi-model. So this one's going to stay single. And then we just kind of say we can do, and this is where we can do the rate limiting and throttling and all that jazz that we saw before. So some of this was actually in the old model config file on a tab in the previous release, but now that's been moved. But what that allows us to do is that now you can have like n number of plans. You can have a lot of fine-grained control of plans within the marketplace, and we could do things like a multi-model RAG, basic or ultra. It's a similar flow here. We give it a plan name and description, but then here is where the handles come into play, where you can bind multiple, like n number of models to this plan, so that when you're doing that binding, you can just do the one binding and then kind of get that ready to go. And the app, and you don't have to like bind 5 or 10 or 15 different models to that plan. and this is really useful for like this the open web UI app where I can just do a singular binding to it and go from there. That type of thing. So and then of course I elected to do the multi-model binding credential format there. So that's a big thing that's new within ops. The Gen AI tile from the platform engineering perspective. That's kind of how the multi-model flow works. Additionally, we have integrations. We have an integrations tab where we integrate with a lot of the different kind of, I guess we call them cloud or maybe SaaS providers of these different. Some of our customers have like a mixed mode where they can use some public models, but for some type of like data use cases, but others that can't. So they have to use their private models or what have you. So that all of these providers have been in this release promoted to general availability status as well. They were in beta before, and most and foremost here, we've added the Anthropic models, the Claude models that are oh so popular with all the vibe coding scene. So we can add the add it directly into the marketplace and broker to the Anthropic models if you'd like to use those as well. So that's another, if you look at all the kind of agentic and vibe coding things, Anthropic seems to kind of be like the how would you say they set the bar.
They are the front runner right now.
Yes,
the standard,
exactly. Yeah. So so it's great to see that. And then I don't have it configured directly in this foundation. I did it in another, but unless somebody from Anthropic wants to send me a bunch of API credits, Coon Lab Services can't sustain unlimited token use out of them. So some of those models are not so cheap at an API token base. So
on your multi-model support, is there a limit to how many models you can bring in, or is it?
I don't know if we tested a limit. I think at some point it would just become silly, where I guess we envision it as like you have a collection of models that fit a use case. Like like the like RAG type of use case, or like if you have another type of use case where you can just like I want to bind and kind of just have that all in one binding and then from the app side it's just a clean single binding perspective. So maybe I don't think we have a limit. It's a comma separated list in the config, but maybe there's a hard limit somewhere, but I don't think it's
got to go. If you can get more than 3 or 4, I think that's going to satisfy most use cases. But when you start looking at this, we talked about vibe coding, Anthropic being the top, but I think that's a common misconception with a lot of people is they think that one model is going to do everything for them, and that's generally not true. Models are better at different things. So I think having that ability, that multi-model, that's where you really start leveraging the benefits of AI. Is you can have one model to help with your coding, one model to help with your documentation, one model to help with your RAG. And that's where you really start, kind of coining a different term, but an AI pipeline for what you're wanting to do. So it's great that this supports multi-models and that you can actually set up some of those pipelines within Cloud Foundry.
Yeah. So that's kind of some high level views. I'm trying to think of anything else that's really kind of crazy new here within OpsMan and the Gen AI tile. I think those are the main highlights here in the 10.2 release.
From that standpoint, for sure. There's also, we also made sure that in this release, external model support is now generally available. So previous to this in 10.0, it was a beta offering at that point. And so with this, now all of this is all GA. So it's no longer considered in beta from that standpoint, which obviously is important when we think about, support and enterprise support for this. That's always something that customers want to know is like, hey, I want to be able to take advantage of these models. I want to be able to take advantage of this as I'm building this out. Enterprise support is key. And if we're doing it without enterprise support, that means we're on our own. Where in the case of if I've got enterprise support, now I've got somebody standing behind it. And that's important to so many organizations from a value standpoint.
Yeah, and let me ask one more question on that. So seeing that you've got like Vertex and all of those things coming in, kind of the SaaS models, Is there a way to do almost like a user provided service if you're bringing in, let's say you're doing Vertex AI within your data center through like Google Distributed Cloud or something like that? Is there a way to bind to that through like a user provided service, or is that still going to look like a Vertex model? You're just giving it a different location that's on-prem?
Yeah, so I guess another thing too to call out here is that we do support if you have an endpoint that's OpenAI compatible, you can add that in as a register. So as long as like
Okay.
you're speaking an API and you have like authentication to it, you can do that and register that into the marketplace. So if you have some kind of crazy AI thing, I don't know, whatever, you can register that in and with the VMware Private AI solution. So if you have a VMware Private AI deployed, we can add models in a similar fashion and expose that via our marketplace and broker. So
Nice.
I think we're covering a lot of the bases here in model support, whether you want to run them yourself within platform, you want to talk to external models, whether it be SaaS or something else external to the platform within your own four walls. The space is changing every day still. So we're trying to cover all the bases and we'll go from there, right?
Yep.
So.
No, I think that's huge. I mean, we've talked a lot about private AI and how I believe that once people start getting more comfortable, that's going to become the mainstay. Because I don't really know any enterprise worth their salt that's really going out and, at least not legally, from a corporate perspective, pasting stuff into the public chat GPT. So being able to bring that stuff in, and even if you're using hosted models through like Vertex, and at least you're still keeping the data safe and within your bounds, that's going to be important.
Yeah.
Okay. I have an open web UI deployed. I don't know what the current state of it is, so I'm going to try to create a new service here, and we'll try to do one of these multi-model services. So I went in here, and then I guess I can zoom in here. So this is kind of what it looks like from the marketplace perspective. I'm a developer, and I'm kind of selecting what models that I want. So I want to do Ultra because Ultra is always better. So I'm going to do the multi-modal RAG Ultra. So that means I'm going to get access to my Quen model and my Nomic embedding model, right? And we'll go select that plan. And I'm going to just copy and paste the plan name. I'm just going to call it like MM1. It doesn't matter. I'm lazy. I don't feel like typing. And we'll add that, and then we'll restart that. And hopefully it's the open web UI version that I was working on that supports the multi-model binding, but we'll see. And if not, we'll do a live class on how to make that work. And I guess another thing too, that's kind of a big.
Well, and while Nick is frozen again, oh, here he is.
All right, I'm back. All right.
Yep.
As we introduce the multi-model concept, right? We still have the old plan config. So if you have applications that were written to go to that binding spec, they're not going to break as long as they keep binding to that single mapping. But like there are, apps that are getting updated and things of that nature. So there's a little bit of tiny app code to tweak more just from the binding perspective. So like the CF Java ENV is getting work done right now. Corby is working on his AI tool chat app to make use of some of this as well. So there's some PRs going across the wire right now to kind of get support for all this lined up. But that's something that is worth calling out too. Like if you have existing demo apps written to this, you're going to want to stay to the singleton binding plans until you either pull in the updates of like CF Java ENV or whatever framework you're using there.
One other thing I want to point out here is, again, talking private AI, but also private cloud. This really is very much like a public cloud service on-prem, right? You're picking things out through the GUI. This is something the Cloud Foundry's been doing for a long time. And it's something that I don't think enough people know about it. You want a public cloud-like experience in your data center. This is the best way to get it because you've got the GUI, you've got the command line. There's multiple different ways you can do this, but this makes it very easy for people. This does give you that experience within your own data center.
Yes, yeah, and we'll see if this is refreshing here. Let's look at my logs. Let's see. It's been I have not looked at this specific environment for a little bit, so I'm not sure what's going on here. And we'll see. I could have deployed a broken app. Primary key.
Those primary keys.
Yeah, this may be one that I wrote to use a database, and I didn't bind a database, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll have to give it another moment. But oh, running. Okay, maybe that's just a red herring log. You know, the app works. Okay. All right. All right. Yay! It works.
Imagine that. What's new in Open Web UI? Isn't that like a every 2 hour type of thing?
Yes. Okay. So the demo gods are with me today. The Streamyard gods are not. But so I had it empty. If you were paying attention, my Open Web UI was not bound. It had no models, right? But now we added the multi-model plan, and it's picking up 2 models. So we have the
nice.
it's viewing that, and everything's ready to go, which is great. Because if you've seen some of my older demos, my services marketplace would look like a hot mess with the Open Web UI, because I'd have like 15 bindings, because I used this app to test all my all the different models and all the different like kind of performance things that I was doing with it. Just because hey, it was just it's a nice clean UI here. But now I'm really going to be pushing it here. I'm going to.
We're on the edge of our seat, Nick. What are you?
I was going to say he's pushing it and he froze.
I'm gonna. I'm pushing. Yeah. So yeah, if I freeze, let me know. I don't think I lose you hearing wise, but I don't know. We're gonna say hello. Oh, it's thinking. It thought. Oh, okay. Yeah. So at least this works. Out of everything that's happened this episode, we can say hello and thought back. I guess another a fun tidbit here. We, every release of the tile brings in the updates to the inference engine. So, we're running the Quen 30B, 3 billion active ultra. I added the ultra. So the Quen 3 30 billion parameter model that we ran, we actually did a kind of like 4 or 5 episodes ago. Like we kind of showed a preview of just running it on CPU. Now it's all been updated and ready to go in this version of the tile. And I'm running on a GPU, so it's super fast. So hey, why not? But anyway, that's kind of what I have some planned demos to have a bunch of different models or different plans, and just have that one binding ready to go. But that's some work that's happening there. And I did merge a PR to the Open Web UI CF GitHub that I run that does have code in there to support this. Now, I probably should have left the old code in there. I thought about that after the fact, that like if you want to use the single use plans, comment the first part out and use this code block type of thing. But maybe I'll go back and clean that up a bit. But it is seemed to be functional working here. So
that's nice. So
yeah,
multiple models using Open Web UI.
Yep. And I don't know.
That way you're not having to manage 15 different bindings, like you said.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Clean, very clean that way.
Yeah. Okay. And there's another, I was going to say, there's a number of other enhancements for Gen AI kind of overall. I don't know, Nick, did you have anything else you wanted to demo with that one specifically, or you want me to just kind of peruse through some of these other enhancements too?
And he's frozen again.
He's frozen again.
Yep.
His mouse is moving, his face is frozen.
Yep. Okay. Well, I don't. Can you see
back
me?
now.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you now.
I'm gonna try this. Okay. Gen AI.
What are we trying, Nick?
There's a. Why am I okay? Well, like, there's a UI. We built a whole new UI too in this. So that's something we haven't covered yet. As part of this multi-model plan. All right, I'm back. I'm going to one moment here. I'm going to pause my screen share because I need to find this credential, and I
wonder if we're going to win a Webby Award for the most messed up episode ever.
Yeah. Can I stop my screen?
Go ahead.
Are you back? Okay. Now, give me one moment while I peruse my credential repository.
All right.
I think what we may end up doing with this episode, because StreamYard does allow us to upload locally, is we may just redo this whole episode and repost it instead of a live
Yeah.
epised as a recorded. We'll do some
There'll be a few
editing on this one.
interruptions along the way, but yeah,
That's
that's a
right.
good. Yeah.
No, this is just going to be up. We're going to put this up to our first. This feels a lot like our first live episode, which was a great in-person experience. However, on the live stream, not so much. But we were able to fix it after the fact, so to speak. But hey, that was a great CF day in New York City last year. But we learned a lot that episode about streaming live in person. It was a bit of a. Okay. Hold, please.
Still wasn't as bad as this episode.
No, that's true. This is.
I'm just glad that it wasn't me, because last week's episode went great, and it's just this week's StreamYard's throwing a fit.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like yes. The today are not a us issue. I feel.
We're going to give Nick a 5-second countdown every time he freezes. He usually's back within 5 or 6 seconds.
Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to get this password here, and I keep freezing, and I don't know. We got a little demo going. We talked here.
I think what we've got is Kuhn Labs needs to reinvest in their networking architecture. The server architecture is down pat. So maybe it's time to bring in some big pipes.
And I have some solid network situation happening right now. I don't think it's on my side. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, it's got to be an internet issue, because Nikki, you were having the same problem.
Yeah. But hey, I'll get this really good view of my air conditioner. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like a solid air conditioner. I'm not gonna lie. Did you cover where you are this week, or because you're remote? Okay, well, this hates me today. I can't figure out the
wait, what's on your wrist? What's on your wrist, Darin? What is that?
Oh, that is so it's not on or active at the moment, but it is a Plod AI assistant, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it doesn't work for phone calls or Zoom calls very well, but like if you are in an in-person meeting and you need something taking your notes for you, you do that, and then it transcribes it all locally on your phone. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk, because that would come in super handy at like events and stuff like that, where you're talking to 50 people.
Very much so at events.
Who you're talking to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think I'm just gonna skip that one, because I don't know. Everyone hates me right now, and I can't log into that for some reason. But
I love you, Nick.
There's a few things. Yeah, I'm sorry. My computer does not like me. Maybe I can share my screen again. I'm really gonna test it here to try to get the screen share going.
All right.
And it's really a shame, because you've got such a festive shirt on.
Yes. Yeah.
True.
I even more special. It's like, hey, I got my 4th of July shirt.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. All right. This is one more screen share, and then we're done today. I'm gonna call it.
It's fair.
Okay. One more I wanted to cover, and then we can call it. But there's we'll just call them notable features. As in, there's a lot in this slide. Nikki, I know you know about the non-contiguous CIDR blocks in the overlay network. What we're talking about with Amelia at CF Day. Yeah, so getting that landed in 10.2. Pretty sweet. So again, if you haven't IP space, routable IP space, or non-routable whatever, depending on how you're set up, it can always be a troublesome resource to fight for within an enterprise. And you may not have a giant /22 or /16 or /20 or whatever free. /20, whatever. And you might have to piece together a few different blocks to get what you need. And now we can support that. You don't have to have a contiguous space.
Yep.
And one more thing to call out too. So the CNB support that landed in the OSS CF has landed now within Tanzu Platform. So right now it's kind of a bring your own CNB. But then we'll get that going. As in, you can add it. We'll add in additional build packs and patch releases and things too. So the framework per se has landed where the CNB, the Cloud Native Build Packs v3s are going to be pretty available for you going forward. And it's a little bit different approach that we took in a previous past release of the shim CNBs. So this is more of the more proper way to introduce the CNBs via the Cloud Foundry kind of open source model, so to speak. So
well, and there's another huge one there for regulated and federal, that FIPS for service tiles. So we've done FIPS for, I keep saying we, but FIPS has been there for applications for a while, but service tiles has always been a miss. So that's huge.
Yep. Well, that's actually something we highlight on the very next slide too, is that this release actually includes now all of the core data tiles features FIPS stem cell support. So to your point, Nikki, big deal for a lot of regulated industries, customers who maybe are held to some of those regulatory standards. I know when I worked at the bank, we were always focused on FIPS support for just about everything, because it is something that financial institutions are also held to. I know, especially here in the U.S., there's a lot of that, and obviously abroad as well. And then a number of different data services enhancements. So the MySQL tile now supports incremental backups, and obviously restore. So anybody that's done a lot of database work, incremental is always super helpful because you're not waiting as long between backups anymore. But it also takes significantly less space than some of the differentials and obviously a full backup. And then Tanzu for Postgres now introduces high availability for Postgres service instances. I just totally got distracted by a comment. So this capability, is actually built around the Patroni framework. And the other big thing here too with Postgres is the fact that this also brings us to Postgres 16 engine as part of that as well. So I'm trying to think anything else on those two.
Just real quick for the people listening that aren't viewing, Valkey, right? Real quick. So people, I know the diehards they know what Valkey is, but maybe not everybody.
Yeah. So Valkey is the artist formerly known as Redis, right?
Yes.
So yeah, there was I guess how do we say, a open source breakup, I guess. So Redis introduced some things, and the community went and made the fork called Valkey. That is what we are rolling forward with. If you do have older versions of the Valkey tile, they actually say Redis, but it's upgrade compatible. Everything is like essentially the same. It's just now that we're using the official Valkey project going forward, as in a lot of people are, and that's kind of.
Well, and don't bury the lead here, because that was one of the most important things about the switch over to Valkey is for everybody that's doing pipeline upgrades. Switching to that Valkey tile did not break your pipelines because they kept the slug, so everything stayed the same there, unless something's changed. But that was a huge move. It just goes to show how much they're paying attention to the platform engineer headaches that happen when things like this occur.
Yes, very much so. And then again, shout out to Oded too. Yes, Postgres. If you're on, using the Postgres tile, all of these tiles too, by the way, are included within Tanzu Platform. There's no longer a need to have like a separate service instance license or anything like that. But Postgres does do PG vector support as well. So if you're talking all of these AI things we're doing and embeddings and things, and we've kind of showed that before in past episodes, though, you can do the embedding process and do all that with Postgres and PG vector. So all the CF bind service, create service, all that's in the marketplace, and it just goes like peanut butter and jelly with all your AI stuff you're doing too, right? So very, very good there.
All right, here's the hard question, because I can do that now. We've talked a lot about service-only foundations. So we've got small footprint coming in. You've got all the data tiles. Now they're FIPS compatible. Any movement on data-only foundations, or is that something that's still in plan, or is secret squirrel stuff we can't talk about?
Well, I can talk about some of the things that are out today, and I believe we showed it off last episode, but when we were in the hub, you started to see a services view where you started, and it's in read-only mode right now, but it was a singular consolidated viewpoint of all of your services, right? So let's just think about, you can maybe extrapolate where that's going, but like even now in its current state, even in a read-only mode, right? It is a visual representation of all of your foundation's deployed service instances, which it doesn't exist anywhere else. So that's pretty awesome, especially if you're like in one of my other foundations. Let's say the prod foundation of Kuden Lab Services. I've got a lot of service instances deployed, and whenever I do a Bosch deployments, that output takes a while to come back. But to be able to see all those within a hub and in a visual representation of like, oh, I've got like 100 Postgres service instances deployed. That's pretty sweet. So,
yep. Database as a service that was a big thing before AI, squashed all other, things that were coming up. But important to point out, this isn't database as a service. This is data as a service, right? This gives you the ability to deploy out things. So this was something that was very big when it first came out with Service Gateway. Getting a MySQL tile could take 2 to 3 weeks, months in some organizations. Now you can do these in like 15 or 20 minutes. You've got full control over those, so you can upgrade all your instances at one time, or you can allow the developers to do it. So data as a service, Cloud Foundry has been doing it for a while.
Yeah, and I know there are many customers who use it in that way already today. We're just doing a lot of things on the back end and other things to make it more a better experience, so to speak. So there's a lot more stuff to come. I can't talk about everything yet because it's not been released, but a lot of cool things happening. So stay tuned per se. In this area. Yeah. And I think we'll give a shout out to Dobbs too. We haven't seen you in a while, Dobbs. It's great that you come back. You should join.
Welcome back to the light, buddy.
Yeah, and hang out with us. Great to see you. Thanks for watching, and congrats on your new gig there. Love to hear what's going on. But yeah, that's all. We are over time. I'm still I think fading in and out of consciousness on StreamYard. But
I want to call out Dobbs as well, because we've been saying Cloud Foundry is making a reemergence. Dobbs just proved it, right? New jobs are going out to CF admins. People are starting to discover there's always been an easier way, but now with the breadth of things coming out, people are kind of falling back to the easy button, which is Cloud Foundry. So welcome back, Dobbs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the other big things too is just, we continually see more and more organizations are looking for, to your point, Nikki, that easy button. They're looking for that platform as a service style approach to, hey, I don't want to have to go turn all the nerd knobs. I don't want to have to go do all the plumbing and all the work ahead of time. I want to be able to just consume something and it be really easy to get to production faster, to go from idea to code and code to production. That's the goal at the end of the day. And that's something. Oh, Nikki's gone. That's something that Cloud Foundry gives us the ability to do on-prem, in our own environment, and there's tremendous value there. So that's all I had.
Got added to backstage.
He's back.
No, I 100% agree with you, and I'm stealing that comment. Nerd knobs, I love that. Love everything about that. I'm stealing that from you. I'll pay you a penny every time I say it.
All right, that sounds good. I'm
not going to tell you when I say it though, so you'll have to follow me around.
Oh, no problem. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, it's, I think, yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, we're seeing that reemergence of, hey, PaaS is back. Like that's really the big story. And I think you see it obviously in the public cloud space too, right? I mean, we see more and more customers that have interest in, the likes of Google Cloud Run and, Azure App Service and AWS App Runner. Like they're great platforms, but there's a lot of lock-in associated with them. And you've got to be really committed to, hey, we're running everything on those cloud platforms. Why not run your cloud platform your way? And that's something that you can do with Tanzu Platform, with Cloud Foundry, and it brings a tremendous amount of value, and it puts the power back in the hands of the developer, puts the power back in the hands of the platform engineer, and that's the goal at the end of the day.
Yep, freedom is choice, and we're seeing that across the board. I mean, it's not just coming with, how do we get our code to production? It's coming with your development environments. It's coming with, you look at all the frameworks that are out there. People are looking to make things easy. It is one of the reasons I believe that AI is taken off the way it is because it is making life easier on a lot of people. So why not combine those things? Why not get
Right.
something that gives you a PaaS platform, but also incorporates AI, makes everything easy for you?
Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yep. So audience, questions
Yes.
out to you. What do y'all think about all this, right? Now that you're coming onto the show every week, you're watching this, but how are you feeling about Cloud Foundry in a whole? What are you seeing? Are you seeing your company wanting to move to something easier? Man, leave a comment leave a comment for us. Let us know. It's something we'd want to talk about. Dobbs, I think maybe we might want to try to get you on a show. I'm excited to hear about your new CF admin role and what brought that around.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm still here, I just posted the link to the Slack that we just started. You should join. We've got some folks have already joined, and we're going to start a little community there going forward. So if you haven't joined the Slack, you should come hang out with us. I've got some channels set up. We'll have some fun things to do there. Yeah, if you want, you can
I had
always
to
DM.
turn off email notifications of people joining. It was filling up my inbox. We're getting a lot of people coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
Great to see people joining. Now we just got to start talking on it, start getting people excited.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I guess to shout out Chris Phillipson, he was talking to us in Slack, and then so we'll get there. We'll get there. And as I keep dying, but if I have one more thing to do.
Hold on, Nick. You cut
No.
out there. What are you getting to? You said we'll get there. We have no idea what we're getting to.
I don't know. Just getting the Slack community going.
Okay.
All
right.
Odette just joined the Slack. Hooray! Yay! All right. One more thing before I die on StreamYard. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Come visit us on all the channels. LinkedIn,
I think it's backwards.
X.
I don't know. Like, yeah.
No,
FoundryWeekly.com for the
That's
audio.
Good? Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Great. I'm silly. All right. You should like, subscribe. Everything's great. It helps out. Maybe we're gonna have to do some heavy massaging of this episode on YouTube and the podcast format. But all the podcasts are now up to date as well. So we'll go from there. But yeah, thank you all for hanging in with us this long and this such a turbulent show technically wise. But hey, we're here, right?
Oh, it was fun. Darin got to sit there by himself for a little bit. It was fun.
I did.
Yeah. Who's driving the boat? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next week, I guess. Hopefully next week will go a lot better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, count us down, Nick.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was gonna say if it's not going well next week, we're finding a new vendor for our StreamYard. But yeah. Anyway, we'll just all right. Are we here?
We're here.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1.
CF bye.
Bye.